Yo,
Hi,
you alright?
how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
I'm
Well,
bored out of my mind, but
I
other than
know,
that, I'm
yeah, I
okay.
know.
It's a nightmare.
How are you coping?
I've got, I've been making my girlfriend hold pads to me and stuff. Uh,
Kate?
yeah, Kate's been holding pads to me. Obviously, she knows what she's doing because she used
Yeah,
to be a fighter at quite a high level. I'm running on a morning and I'm joining in with my PT, well, my ex-PT, strength and conditioning trainer. He's been doing a live workout every day at 10 a.m. on free for everybody on Instagram. So me and all my friends have been joining in with that, but it's hard.
are you trying to stick to a routine?
Yeah, you know what? That's the hardest part, like sticking to a routine. I've been getting up every morning, having a cold shower, meditating a little bit, and then taking my dog out just as normal at 6:30 every day and getting up. It's just
Yeah,
like the bits in between that I'm just stuck. Like from 6:30 getting up and then waiting till to train at 10 o'clock and stuff without being able to go to the gym, and
I know,
I'm
yeah.
just I'm stuck for a bit then. But there's a lot of people out there who are in the same positions and a lot worse positions, so I can't complain really.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think everyone's kind of saying, God, if the gyms were open, it'd be all good.
Yeah, that's the
If
thing,
we
but
could train, it'd be all good.
it is
So,
what it is, isn't it?
what's been going on with yourself other than obviously been trapped inside?
Well, just to be fair, my fucking shins have been smashed to smithereens, haven't they? And them
Yeah, same.
doctors did an absolute botch job on me. So I've been stuck inside for two. I've been stuck inside for fucking 2 weeks anyway. So then I thought, right, I can finally go out now. I can do something. Nah, lockdown. So
So what happened with the shins with the doctors? Was
oh
it
my,
just bad advice or what
I'd
happened?
have had a better fucking chance with Stevie Wonder sorting them out. I'm telling you, what they did was they glued them up on the thing, and I was the last fight, and it was basically like they thought, oh, just fucking hurry up and do this, and then we can get home. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was looking at them doing it, and a few people said to me afterwards, went, they don't look right then. So I messaged one of the paramedics the next day, and I said, are these all right? I said, they look fucked, mate. And he went, yeah. He said, glue never looks pretty. Don't worry about it. So he said, just put a dressing over it. Don't get them wet for a week. So I put a dressing on, and then at the end of the week, I took the dressing off and that, and I looked at them and I thought, that doesn't look right. So I thought, I'll get a shower anyway, and the glue might fall off. I got a shower and I looked at them, and there were just big holes in my legs still. I went to the A&E, and then the nurse and the doctor there said to me straight away, they went, this is the worst glue job we've ever seen. She said, whoever's done this, said they need sacking. I was like, oh my
Wow.
God, yeah. So what they did was then, I've got a video of it. I was going to post it on my Instagram actually, but I haven't bothered. They had to scrape all the glue and the scab out. And I said to them, oh, have you got any anaesthetic? And they said, look, we're really busy. We haven't got time to numb it. So they just fucking scraped it out. And I was honestly pathetic.
Fucking
I
hell.
was screaming. So they had to scrape it all out. And then they got steri strips, pushed it together with the steri strips. And they said to me, they went, why when they glued it, didn't they steri strip it as well, just to hold it in place? I said,
Yeah.
I don't know. I said, I have no idea. But yeah, it were
Because
terrible.
it's so important, isn't it? Especially for fighters, when it's stuff like when you're getting glued, that a good job is done because
Well,
obviously you're
especially on my shins, my low kick's my main weapon. Do you know what I mean?
exactly, yeah,
Honestly, I thought about if this wouldn't have been happening with this lockdown and I can't trade anyway. I thought about, I should put a claim in against them. It was that bad.
yeah,
The proper
yeah,
like,
100%.
uh, it's like say if a builder or someone like that, if he went to hospital and they didn't stitch he chopped his finger off and they stitched it back on wrong and he couldn't
Yeah,
work. It'd been similar type of thing. Do you know what I mean? So.
yeah. This might sound like a stupid question, but have you got your body insured?
No, a few people have
Like
asked me this
you
before.
know the
Yeah,
way like some people like models and stuff get their legs
yeah. A few
insured.
people have said to me, "You can do this," but I don't know. I would not first think about going about something like that, and it is what it is, isn't it? So,
Yeah,
but like obviously, a paramedic at a fight show, you expect to be in good hands.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
100%.
You expect to think, "Oh, they're going to know what they're doing," and clearly, no. So, if Brian Calder's ever picks this up, he needs some new paramedics because the worst thing is as well, when I went to the hospital, they said, oh, it's a good thing you've come. I said, are your legs hurting? I said, yeah, I'm in agony still. They went, yeah, you've got cellulitis in both of them, so they were
Fuck.
both infected as
Did
well.
they swell
So,
up?
oh yeah, they were just starting to swell, and when it started to swell, is they were pulling the wound back open because of
Oh,
stretching.
Liam. Cellulitis
They
on
look
its
a little
own.
bit better now, though. Like, they look a little bit better.
Holy shit. Fucking hell.
Yeah,
Like,
but
how long is that? That's like, what?
that's nearly 3 weeks. That look.
Fucking hell, Liam. Shit.
The
Fucking
thing is as
hell.
well, Richard went, right, your next few fights, you're probably going to have to ease off low kicking. I'm like, nah, fuck that.
Have to take up golf or something.
Yeah. Yeah,
But you
so,
know what I was going to ask you?
hopefully
Yeah.
what the next, when everything does get back to normal, I don't even know how long it's going to be. The
Yeah.
next few fights I'll pursue are going to be in one championship anyway. So I'll have the
Amazing.
smaller gloves on and I'll be punching a lot more than kicking anyway. So hopefully shouldn't be too bad.
How's the experience been on one?
Oh, it's amazing. I love it. The production, the way they look after the fighters, everything, the
Yeah.
weighing rules and stuff like that. I love everything about it.
Yeah,
It
because
is
it's
amazing.
like it's kind of up there as like one of the pinnacle promotions. We're starting to see like loads of kids now. That's their goal destination. You know what I mean? So it must feel good to be already there, I suppose.
Yeah, like I say, for the younger fighters, I they all want to get on it, obviously. But the
Yeah.
thing is, I've always said, do not fight in them small gloves unless you're at the back end of your career. I've had hand problems. I punch pretty hard, so I've had hand problems all the way through my career. If they offered me this when I was 22, 23, I'd have said, no, I'm just going to have a little bit more experience, let it pan out, let it play out, get more fights under my belts in the big gloves. Because if you have to fight your whole career in them little gloves, especially if you sign solely to them,
Hmm.
it's not good for anybody. That it's not going to be good for your face, your brain, or your hands really.
Yeah.
Which is why it's good for me now. I'm 34 now, so I'm looking to fight for maybe 2, 3 more years and then retire. If I were like 22, 23, and then you're fighting in them little gloves like every fight, you're not having a long career.
Hmm.
You're not at all.
Do you notice? It might sound silly, but do you notice the difference when you're in there with the gloves?
You know what? The first time I wore them against Rodlek, I didn't start letting them go until round one were pretty even. Round two, I was winning easy, and then I got dropped midway through round two,
Mm.
and I didn't start letting them go until after I got dropped because I just thought, you know what, fuck this, I'm just throwing caution to the wind and going for it. And that was because even though I punched really hard, I was scared about hitting him on top of the head or something and breaking my hand.
Yeah.
But then when I did start letting him go and the wall landing, and even a few did hit him on top of head and stuff, my hands were actually, they were a bit sore for a couple of weeks after, but I had no breaks, nothing like that. And then
Mm.
in the last fight, I knew if as long as I just aimed my shots correctly, it'd be all right. And then I knocked him out in the first round. So it's just, it was just getting a bit confident with him and getting used to him because obviously I broke my hand with big gloves on before. So I was thinking, oh no, I wasn't too bothered about getting punched with him.
Yeah.
And I think that was the reason because I wasn't really letting too many hard punches go, but I got caught myself.
Hmm.
And then as soon as I started letting go of my own hands, I was destroying Rodlek in round three. If it had been another round, I think I'd have stopped. Well, I know I would have stopped him, but by that point, it was too late. In 3 round fight, if you get dropped, you're not going to win unless you knock them down.
When you look back on fights and ones that, like you're saying, that if there was another round or if things had been different in some way, you could have gotten the win or you would have gotten the win. Do you have to kind of just embrace that and let them go in sort of a way, or
Yeah, you have to. It were my own.
mm,
There were no fault other than what I did in there, and it was my own fault. And it's all right saying that. It don't make no difference because I want another round, and
yeah,
so I just had to accept that I was beaten by the better man on the night. And I'd love a rematch with him definitely because I know all his strengths, his weaknesses, and stuff. I know that people forget about that fight. I'd had knee
hmm,
surgery 3 months prior, and they said, right, within 3 months you should be able to get back to training fully.
yeah,
I was back training fully after 6 weeks, and then I had a fight after another 6 weeks. So my entire fight camp was me trying to build my knee back up. There was no real game plan. There were no real like proper fight training. The first 6 weeks was me building my knee back up, and then the next 6 weeks was me trying to just get my fitness back to a level where I can hold my own in a fight. So
yeah,
it wasn't like I was going from normal fitness into fight camp, and when I'm at the top of my game, I was unfit. I was fat because I've been on crutches for like a month, so I'd not been able to run or anything. And then when I finally got back to it, I was a bit rusty still. And even with the rust and everything, other than the knockdown, that was the only thing that separated us. And like I say, in round three, I give him a right hiding, but it is what it is, isn't it? So I'd like a rematch, to be fair.
I think a lot of people would like to see it. You know.
Yeah, you know what? Even if I lose, win, lose or draw, I don't care as long as people get value for money.
Mm-hmm.
It's an entertainment sport, and we are here as entertainers, not just
Yeah.
fighters. So as long as people we're happy with, then that's the main goal.
Absolutely. Do you know what I wanted to ask you? And every time I've met you, I've always wanted to say to you or to ask you about it. Is can you remember the time period where you kind of recognized your low kicks as a signature style? Like people, when people think low kicks, your name is right next to them. Can you remember the time period where you were like, do you know what? Like this is my thing, and this is where all these new fans are coming out of, and this is what they want to see in a fight.
The first time I stopped someone with a low kick, I was 15, and it was a fighter from Holland. And they came over, a team from Holland, and I fought a team from Bad Company, and I stopped him. And then my next fight after that, I fought a guy who was like 26-year-old, and he was a kickboxing world champion, and he'd just come to Muay Thai. And then obviously I thought, oh, well, he ain't going to be able to block low kicks. And then I stopped him as well. And then I
Yeah.
stopped someone else. So it was like 3 fights in a row when I was 15. So I knew then that it was one of my favourite weapons. But I posted a fight up today when I stopped Andre Kulbin. He was the first, I think, elite level. I'd stopped a lot of good level fighters with low kicks, but I was the first elite level fighter.
Mm-hmm.
And that was about in 2012, that was. So that was, then like everyone started to know me for it then. I'd stopped a lot of good fighters, but by stopping someone of that caliber who was 18-time world champion, I don't think he'd been stopped before, but to like do a demolition job on him like that, then everyone started to like take note of it then. But the thing is, everyone should know about it now. Well, everyone does know about it now, but there's no one still can really deal with it.
Yeah.
Like if something happens to me, like in my last fight where my shin splits or something like that, but
Because I always, anytime I've seen you fight that I've been in the crowds, when you start attacking the leg, you can hear the crowds and the oohs and the ahs start coming in. And I think it was at UCL Dublin. I was stood next to a couple of lads, and when you started low kicking, they were saying Christian Facino, they were saying like, "Oh, here it comes, here it comes." It was like this really exciting. It was the first time that I kind of felt that like the fighter was an entertainer. Does that make sense?
people expect certain things from certain fighters. I know every time I fight, people expect me to go to war, hard punches, hard low kicks, and that's what they want to see. And that's what I want to give them. Even when my shin split in the last fight, I thought, oh shit, people still want to see this fight. I'm not stopping doing it. So I kept doing it, and then it fucking split again on the same leg, just a little bit of it. And I sat down at the corner. I went, I better stop this, Richard. And Richard went, do not use that fucking leg again.
Yeah.
And I went out. I threw one more low kick with it, and then it actually hurt me during the fight. And that shouldn't be happening when you've got that adrenaline in you. So, and I thought, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like afterwards, I felt like I had to apologise a little bit, because when people come and watch you fight, they want to see you do what you do. They paid money to watch you. Everyone wants to see me either knock someone out or boot the leg into Rosette at stand or something. That's what they've paid for, do you know what I mean? And I felt bad doing what I had to do to get the win, do you know what I mean? Because it were either do what I did or then put myself at a 50-50 chance of losing. I knew I could have won on points easily without taking any more damage, which I did. It were either that or go to war, which gives them a 50% chance of winning, because there's no guarantees when you go to war.
Exactly. So that's what I was going to follow up with, was that do you feel a pressure to perform or to give the fan what they want? And I suppose you just answered it there with
you do, yeah, of course you do. But the fact is, what you got to remember is that I've had like nearly 120 fights or whatever now, and there's so many of them that have been wars that I have give a lot out. But then sometimes I have to just do what I have to do to get the win, because that's the most important thing, really. There's no point me going and fighting someone. I think that guy had 50 fights, so he's obviously not experienced as me. I shouldn't have, on paper, I shouldn't have lost that fight at all. But if I'd have just gone out all guns blazing, thinking, all right, fuck it, let's just go to war, blow for blow, punch for punch, there's always a 50-50 chance that he might land something and it's going to end the fight.
Yeah.
I'd watched a few of his fights, and he'd had a few one-punch KOs, and he fought Carlos Araya, who's a real strong fighter, and he knocked him out. So I remember thinking, all right, he's obviously got something about him to stop a fighter like that. So he would either just do what I did, win on points, stay safe, get the win next to my name again, then keep going on to something else, or, like I said, 50-50 chance, go to war. All it takes is one mistake, and you drop your hands, and he throws a bomb, and it tags you. And
absolutely. When a lot of the young up and coming fighters that I've interviewed or that I've spoken to, you're always someone that when I ask them who would you aspire to be like, whether it's fight style or in terms of like the success of your career, and your name is always in there. And I'm wondering, you know, if you were to give advice to them, how would you put it into onto paper, how to have the career that you've had?
I've been obsessed with Muay Thai since ever I can remember. Just work hard, and you need a bit of luck with it as well. Obviously, the hard work and the luck, they come together.
Mm-hmm.
If you work hard, the universe will repay you with that little bit of luck. As long as you're doing everything right, and you're putting the hours in the gym, you're winning your fights when you're early on in the career. Like I say, the universe will repay you usually with that little bit of luck. You just need the right promoter or the right fight on the right show to get spotted by someone else, like
Mm-hmm.
say the One Championship guys, the Yokkao guys, or a big show like that, and then everything else will come with it. I'd say try and get to Thailand as well, because that's a main part in most of the guys' careers. Like myself, I've done it. Like Daniel McGowan, people have done it.
Mm-hmm.
Irish fighters like Stephen Malidi have done it.
Yeah.
Clancy's doing it now. The Irish guys like that, and that's how they're getting these. Like Clancy's won the WBC. Stephen Malidi, he was top 10 Lumpini. Dan McGowan was in the stadiums fighting good names like that, and that's what I did when I was 19 to 21, just 2 years
Mm-hmm.
there, just to build my rep up. There's a lot of like young fighters now who are all coming through, and they've been like catapulted onto the world stage, and they
Yeah.
don't have the experience yet. So I think you just need to fight regular, especially when you're young. I think from being about 15 until I was about 23, I was fighting 9, 10 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just to get my fights up and just get the experience. And by the time you're like 25, 26, you're still young, but you've seen everything. You've seen every style. You know how to adapt to every style. You've got that experience. You've worked with some of the best trainers all over. So that's what I'd say. Try and go to Thailand. Try and get your experience up. Try and fight as regular as possible, especially when you're younger.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main thing. It's experience, because like we've got the fighters in England now. They are the next level. Some of the guys, like obviously McGowan, there's Haggerty fighting like Superlek and Rotang, and then there's Liam Nolan. There's guys who are all like coming through like this. The only difference is between us and the guys that over there is the experience. They've
Mm-hmm.
we've got all the tools to match with them, but they've just got 150 fights more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
difference now. Like a few years ago, when I was down at 21 or whatever I was, when I was fighting in stadiums in Thailand and stuff, there weren't many people doing it, and there weren't many English guys who could do that. We've got so many in England, Ireland, and even the Scottish guys now. Obviously, there's Chris Shaw and people like that. We've got so many in the UK and stuff now. We can fight with them guys. We can live with them, and it were unheard of before. So the only difference is just their experience. But like when our guys just keep fighting more and more, we get the experience. Then it's just going
Mm-hmm.
to even everything up even more.
Obviously, you've mentioned there that it's kind of an accumulation of different things that will bring you to the level that you're at. Can you pinpoint, or can you, if you had to have one piece of experience that you found most valuable, what would it be?
I was 18 years old. I'd won my first 29 pro fights pretty easily, a lot by KO. I fought my first stadium champion. I was meant to fight Thailand Pintinchai. It changed at the last minute, and I fought a Thai called Duao Kong Udon. And I didn't really know who he was at the time. And I was 18, I was young, I was cocky. I'd won my first 29 fights. I was thinking, all right, get to 30, you know, as a pro, that'll be amazing. And he came over. He just beaten Anwar his last fight, but I didn't know at the time. So we fought, and they'd said to me before the fight, "Oh, you know, this guy's never been knocked out." And I'm like, "Yeah, doesn't matter. I'm gonna knock him out." And in round two, I went bang left hook, and I dropped him. And I thought, "Yeah, I'm gonna knock him out here, same as all rest." He got up and he fucked me up. And when I say fucked me up, I mean he slapped me around that ring. Like honestly, he didn't even have a gum shield in, and I'll never forget it. I dropped him with a left hook, and he bounced up like the Undertaker, and he smiled at me. He smiled at me across the ring. He had all blood in his teeth, and I looked at him, I thought, oh, that's never happened before. All right, it's all right. Next round, I'll get him. Honestly, he came out and he fucking battered me. He battered me up and down that ring. And he grabbed me and he was kneeing me and clinching and throwing me and stuff like that. And I'd never fought at like a stadium tie before. Well, I'd fought a few decent level stadium ties, but never an elite champion at that level. And I remember thinking to myself, oh my, after the fight, I was pissing blood and everything, from him kneeing me and so hard. And then he cut me with an elbow and stuff like that. And I remember thinking, after the fight, I'm thinking, right, if I'm going to fight with these guys, I need to be able to fight how learn to fight as well as they do. So that's why I went to live in Thailand for a bit then. And the cool thing about that fight is after that, Dual came to England and he was working as a trainer. And we got into our gym and he came and lived with me for 6 months. And
Wow,
he
no
lived
way.
he lived with me for 6 months. He was a trainer at Bad Company, and then we fought on the same shows. We sparred every day, and I learned so much from him. And so that he were just that fight itself, and then being able to train with him afterwards, I learned so much from that. And it's like one of the reasons that really helped me propel me to like the next level.
What's the biggest difference that you noticed between gyms here and gyms in Thailand?
Do you know what? Like I said, like the gyms here now, they're evolving. But obviously,
Yeah.
like in Thailand, the fighters there, in our gyms in England, we don't have like 7 or 8 amazing pad men all just in the
Yeah.
gym only holding pads who are all former champions themselves. Most gyms in England, you have one coach or one trainer, and then all the fighters, they have to pad work each other or
Yeah.
stuff like that. Obviously, you'll get to work with the main coach on the pads and stuff like that. But then we have to like pad work each other and stuff. Maybe sometimes, like me and Andy would do pads together. Like most of the time in England, I'll do pads with Richard Smith in the morning, and then on the evening, me and Andy will hold pads for each other and stuff. It's not like in Thailand where you've got 7 or 8 former champions who are all there only to hold pads and only to teach and only to train. The the style of the training and stuff is very similar. Like we'll go run, we'll come in, we'll do pads, then we'll maybe do a bit of sparring drills and then sparring and then clinch and stuff like that. All that's very similar, but it's just like we don't have 7, 8, 9 former champions all in there holding pads all over, seeing what we're doing. That's the main difference.
Would you do anything different with your career if you could go back?
There were a few where I got to my mid-20s. I was about 24, 25, and I missed weight in 2 fights. And there were 2 big fights, and there were massive money on the line. And I missed weight by like half a kilo in both of them, so I lost out on the money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was getting to the point, I was getting a bit tired. I'd been fighting non-stop from being 14 to 24. And I was getting just like to the point where my body were a bit tired. And I just got a little bit lazy and complacent. It was just because I've been fighting so long. And I thought, right, I'm going to have a break from this. And I thought, hang on a minute, what the fuck are you doing? You've got like, you don't have to go to work. You don't have to sit in an office. You don't have to do something you don't enjoy. I had a little word with myself. And then since then, it's never happened again. And I've never looked back since then. I thought, you know what? You're doing something you love. You're blessed. You're lucky. And that's it, basically. That's the only thing. When I just got a little bit lazy and complacent. I was still training hard, but my diet just went a bit shit. Just for like about a year. That's where it was. And then since then, it hasn't happened again.
Did you ever have to work full time when you were fighting?
Yeah, when I was getting my name known, just before I went to live in Thailand, I was still fighting like decent level Thais. Oh no, when I got back from Thailand, sorry. So I went to live in Thailand from being 19 to 21. When I got back, I was then, obviously after Thailand, I was fighting stadium Thais and elite level people like all the time then. But the money wasn't great in England.
Yeah.
It was enough to get by, but obviously I didn't want to just get by from fighting. I wanted a little bit of extra money for myself. So me and Andy House and my cousin, we used to get up at 3 in the morning, go to work for 4 a.m., do a driving job for one of my friend's companies, 4 a.m. till 8 a.m., dropping off like newspapers, magazines, stuff like that to other companies. So 4 a.m. till 8 a.m. we'll drive. I'd go back home, get in bed 8 till 10, then go to the gym at 10, train again 5 till 7:30, in bed for 8, up at 4, and that was like a year, just a year, 18 months of my life for that. 18 months just doing that, and then still fighting stadium champions on the side and stuff as well. So that were hard.
Because it's an ongoing sort of like argument with new professional fighters where, you know, there's this thing of like, oh, I can't work. I have to just focus like 100% on fighting. And there's an argument there whether
get the fuck out of here. I was doing all kinds. Getting up 4 in the morning and working.
That's what
I would look when I was that age. Honestly, I would have given anything to just fought. But obviously, the money wasn't as good back then. The money now is compared to back then, it's really good. I remember the first time I ever fought main event on a show, I got about fucking 500 quid or something like that. for fighting main event against a Thai on a good show.
Yeah.
So like obviously now there's people like there's a lot of money to be made and stuff, and
Yeah.
obviously that's what the young fighters see. They see like one championship, like there's a lot of money there, and then there's sponsors everywhere and stuff. So that's amazing for the sport. I've seen firsthand from when I first was main event on a show to how far it's come now, and then when I fought on shows now, and all the sponsors are getting involved, the production, the money's miles better. There's a lot of people say going, "Oh, well, Thai boxing is not going anywhere, is it?" Bullshit. I've watched it. I'm proof that it has. Do you know what I mean? Because like, I couldn't make a living back then, and I make a very comfortable living back now. There's people doing seminars everywhere and stuff like that. There's a lot of fighters doing seminars. They're all sponsors getting involved. You're on TV in front of like millions of people when you're on one championship and stuff. There is a very good living to be made as long as you put the dedication and put the time in.
Do you think the growth and the success of Muay Thai, we'll say in particular on the European circuit or in the UK and Ireland, is that more people have just started training Muay Thai and so the interest is there? Or what can you pinpoint it down? Because like you said, you've been there from the start, you've seen it grow.
When MMA started to become a bit of a thing, a lot of people jumped on it then because any decent MMA fighter, all their stand-up was Muay Thai. So that like helped like catapult it into the mainstream a little bit, you know what I mean? So with that coming in, a lot more people started training on it. A lot more people even just knew about it then. So that then started making more people want to go to the shows and stuff like that. So I think MMA was like a massive part of it, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever thought about turning over to MMA? Or have you been offered? Has anyone ever offered you?
I have actually, but I don't want to get my fucking arm snapped in half and stuff like that. It's not for me. It's taken me long enough now to get like where I wanted to be in Muay Thai. If I were going to do like MMA, I'd have to go back to square one, do all ground game and all that. You know what? I really enjoy teaching. I've worked with a lot of top guys who are in the UFC and stuff like that in help them with their stand-up. And I have a really good understanding of how Muay Thai should be used from MMA because I'm not arrogant enough to think that Muay Thai beats everything. I know what you have to do to get the best out of both. So, but I like teaching it and I like teaching the MMA guys stand up. But I don't want to know. I'm not interested in rolling around on the floor and getting my legs snapped off and stuff like that. It's not for me. Not for me.
Or you touched on an ongoing house party argument on what combat sports beats what. And a lot of Muay Thai guys do think that Muay Thai beats all.
Yeah, you know what? A lot are arrogant, but as soon as someone like catches your kick and then throws you on the floor and then snaps your neck and then you're in trouble.
It's a different ball game.
Yeah.
So obviously, with everything that's up in the air with coronavirus, we don't know when we're going to get at the end of it. But have you got any your plans for the rest of the year? What's
like you say, it's all been thrown into turmoil now. I'm meant to fight in Australia next month for WBC Diamond title, and then I was going to stay on for a month and I had like 15 seminars all planned there.
Wow.
So apparently that's going to get put back to August, but I don't even know how long this is going to last. I don't think people are going to be allowed to fly in and out of this country for a good while, to be fair. So I'm just going to try and keep myself fit here while I can, and then as soon as everything does get a little bit back to normal, hopefully as soon as someone gets offered, I'll be ready in like 6 weeks and then I can jump straight on it.
Brilliant. Do you ever think about when you're finished fighting? What will you do? Will you just focus full time on the gym, on coaching?
Yeah, I've got my seminars to keep me busy. I've got my website. My website's absolutely booming at the minute. So
Are you still doing the live tutorials?
No, I'm just doing my website is just like lots of different. I've got like nearly 400 videos on there now. Just lots of different techniques, all broken down, all different fight strategies, all stuff like that. I've got S&C on there. I've got guest instructors from other top fighters and stuff. So there's always stuff that I can just keep adding to that, and everyone seems to enjoy it. And I get loads of messages of people saying, "Oh, I've got your website. I've been practicing my techniques. I've just used it in a fight at weekend," and that makes me fucking buzz big time. That so now that even though I can't be there, I'm still managing to help people from the other side of the world, and that's an amazing feeling, you know. So like when I do fight, people say, "Excuse me," but then people say, "Oh, what will you do when you retire and when you can't be part of it anymore?" And it's like, "What do you mean I can't be part of it? I am it. It's my life. There's more to it than it'll be hard to let it go because I am a fighter, and to lose that buzz and know that you're never going to get that buzz again." I try not to think about that because Kate always says to me, you're going to do my fucking head in when you can't fight anymore and stuff like that. But I'll put my energy into something else, and it'll be like helping the guys in the gym. We've got a lot of good fighters at Bad Company, and I'll be there to help them. I'll be teaching. My seminars will still hopefully be going really well, and I'll still be going around the world and helping everyone. So
Amazing. What's been the best advice that you've ever been given?
it was when I fought in Thailand once. It was my second or third fight in Thailand, and I was fighting for Jitty Jim, and I fought against Jabbar Askarov, and he fights at 70 kilos. And I remember flying. We were going down to Phuket to fight, and I said to Jitty, I went, "Oh, am I fighting?" And he went, "Oh, this Russian guy." And Jabba got on the plane with us. I went, "I'm not fighting fucking Jabba, am I? He's 70 kilos. And at the time, I was fighting at 62. And it was wrote on the board in the gym, Liam, 62 kilo, Phuket title, like Phuket Stadium title. It was just a shitty Patong Stadium title or something. It didn't mean anything, but... And I thought, right, 62 kilos. So I put the sweatsuit on just as we were about to fly. Like, we flew at 4 o'clock in the afternoon this morning. I put the sweatsuit on, started losing the weight, and Jitty went, "No, don't worry about that." And I knew then straight away, I thought, he's fucking stitched me up here. He went, "Don't worry about that." I went, "Why?" He went, "Oh, just weighing at whatever." He went, "Here, go have some breakfast." And he gave me this big bowl of chicken and rice. I thought, what's going on here? And I said, "I'm getting on plane to go down to Phuket." And I said, "I'm not fighting him, am I?" He said, "He's Russian Jitty." He said, "It's 70 kilos him." He went, "Nah, of course you're not fighting him. He's too big." We got there, I jumped on the scales and I was 65 kilo. And then he got on, he was 70. And promoter went, "No, Liam, you're too small. What are you doing? Go eat something." I said to Jitty, I went, "Jitty, you told me I wasn't fighting him." He went, "Of course you're fighting him." I went, "Oh, for God's sake." But then before the fight, I was a bit nervous how big he was. And he came up to me, to Jitty, and he said to me, he said, "This is the best advice ever." He said, "I'd never do anything I'd never put you in a fight where I didn't think you could win. And plus, win, lose, draw," he said, "doesn't matter." He said, "Fight your heart out, fight your hardest, and then it doesn't matter. Anything else does not matter." And I thought, you know what? It done, and it just put me at ease, and I won the fight.
It's funny how coaches and their analogies can transcend into like everyday life. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
that's what a lot of people find so special about training, not just Muay Thai, but combat sports, martial arts in general, is that it's
yeah.
sort of like a condensed.
It's a cliche where people say it's a way of life, but it is because there's so many different parts of that you can put
Yeah.
into everyday life. Like just like simple stuff about like being disciplined and being respectful and stuff like that. They all work with each other.
If you had to do something and you weren't allowed to be a Muay Thai fighter, what would you do?
Oh my God. Well, to be fair, I was playing football like a semi-pro level until I was 17, and
No way.
I trialed at Leeds, Barnsley, and Sheffield Wednesday. When I trialed at Sheffield Wednesday, in my position, they had 2 England under 16s there, so I was never really going to get in. When I trialed for Leeds the night before, there were a party at my a party at my school. So I went out and I got fucking steaming like an idiot over here. And I had 2 scouts coming to watch my game. And in the first 5 minutes, I scored an absolute blinder. And I thought, yes, this is all right. And then like me hangover kicked in. And I played fucking terrible for the rest of the game. So they lost interest. But by that time anyway, I was making quite a name for myself. When I was 16, I was getting a decent name for myself. And then when I was 17, I won UK #1 spot. And then I was still playing like semi-pro. So I had to like push one to one side. So maybe if I won, maybe if fighting went there, my football could have gone to a decent level. I don't think I'd have ever made it like to a Premier League side, but maybe like lower divisions, Division 2 or something like that, maybe.
Well,
But
football's last is there again, isn't it?
Yeah. What that?
Football's last is there again.
Yeah, true.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No problem. I've enjoyed that actually. Thank you.
Have you any jokes before we go?
Fucking none that I can say on Instagram. No. You know what? Me and my mates, right, were all bored the other day, and I said, right, you put like all your jokes in here. Let's see who's got the darkest joke. And some of them that came in there, so they're the only ones that are in my head now. I can't say them. I'll get kicked off. I'll get barred. I'll come back Monday morning. I'll have about 6 followers left on my page, and that'll be that.
Well, do you know what I was going to ask before we go? Final question, Liam. You know, I was just before you came on, I was looking at your page. Like, how many followers have you got? Like, it's like 500,000 or something, is it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
It's been good, like stuff like being on Joe Rogan and stuff like that, and fighting for one
Did you
championship.
notice a big jump when you went on after the Joe Rogan?
Yeah, because I think Joe's got about 8 million followers and stuff, and then
Yeah.
me and I still stay in contact with Joe and stuff, and we still talk regular. And he shared some of mine not long back and stuff like, and it gets big jumps and stuff. Obviously, fighting for one championships, like they have millions and millions of viewers when you
Yeah.
fight on their shows and stuff. As long as you put good content out and it's stuff people want to
But
watch.
here, you don't be so self-deprecating. I think you're not giving yourself credit for it. I think a lot of the fans like they recognize you. I think you know what I mean, and like how down to earth you are and how accessible you are, and
I,
obviously a good fighter as well. You know that helps.
I was just gonna say then, like, as long as you put good content out there, people want to follow your page and stuff, and people notice it and
Yeah.
stuff. Like, I always want to put out little tips and little tricks for people to try and use and stuff. Training videos and stuff like that. So it's like stuff people want to see, and then I just put like odd thing about my dogs and my cat and that, and so like so that's like another audience in. But yeah, a lot of it I try and make it like so people can get some out of it. Like even just a little clip from my seminar, people I get messages from that saying, "Oh, I saw that clip from my seminar. I went and used it in training over there. It worked perfect." So I like doing stuff like that because, like I say, I buzz when people use the techniques that I'm showing.
And finally, I'm just thinking of it as we're talking here. We were talking at the start about your low kick. Obviously, that was something that naturally just fell into place for you in terms of your training and fighting, and something that naturally developed. What would you say to younger fighters that are watching this that not so much are looking to develop a signature style, but how do you zone in on the strengths? Like, what's a good way to
You know what?
recognize?
We are all really lucky at Bad Company because there's a lot of gyms in England that have one generic style where you can look at a fighter and think he's from that gym. At our gym, when you look at all our champions, like me, Andy, Jordan Watson, James France, Cadden, David Mack, all the guys like Joe Craven, all 6, 7. I think we've had like about 15 world champions over the year, but every one of them has had a different style. And Richard is such a good coach with stuff like that. He doesn't try and like force a certain style upon you. He just lets you develop yours. So obviously you need a good coach behind you who can see what your strengths are and work them for you. So I think that's one of the main things, really.
Brilliant. Great advice. Well, listen, on that note, thank you so much.
No problem. I've enjoyed it.
Appreciate it. You're always very gracious with your time, so I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Anytime. Stay safe.
And
I'll see you soon.
send my love to Kate.
I will
And
do.
see you all soon.
Right. See you in a bit. Bye bye.
Take it easy. Bye bye. Bye, guys.